destiny molder. Come and mold a destiny today. Come and mold my destiny today. Destiny molder, you're the destiny molder. Come and mold my destiny today. Come and mold my destiny today. Yahweh, Yahweh, miracle walking God, name is Yahweh, 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 you are the miracle walking God, your name is Yahweh, 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 you are the miracle walking God, your name is Yahweh, 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 you are the miracle walking God, your name is Yahweh, miracle walker, you are the miracle walker. Come and do your miracle today. Come and do your miracle today. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get it behind me. Victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get it behind me. Victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get it behind me. Victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get thee behind me. Victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get thee behind me. Victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get thee behind me. Victory today is mine. Victory is mine. Victory is mine. Victory today is mine. I told Satan, get thee behind me. Victory today is mine. And it's a victory, Satan defeated, time is to pray, time is to praise, time is a victory, Satan defeated, time is to pray. Time is to praise, time is a victory, Satan defeated, time is to pray. Time to praise, time is a victory. Satan defeated, time is to praise. Time is to praise, Satan defeated. Time is to praise. Time is to praise. Time is to praise. Time is to praise. Time is to pray. Time is to pray. Time is to pray. Time is to pray. Lejiro ogene, ogene tega, ogene tega, ogene tega, ogene mierue, ogene tega, lejiro, ogene tega, otega, ogene tega, ogene mierue, ogene tega, lejiro, ogene tega, tega, ogene tega, tega, ogene tega, ogene mierue, ogene tega, lejiro, ogene tega, otega, ogene tega, tega, ogene tega, ogene mierue, ogene tega, lejiro, ogene tega. Otega, ogene tega, ogene mierue, ogene tega, lejiro, ogene tega, tega, ogene tega, ogene tega, ogene mierue, ogene tega, lejiro, ogene tega. Lifted, Abobodago, lifted, Abobodago. It rains, 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 it rains. Abobodago, lifted up, Abobodago. Representation, Abobodago, 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 lifted, Abobodago, lifted, Abobodago, lifted, Abobodago, 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 lifted, Abobodago, Abobodago, you are lifted, Abobodago, Abobodago, you are lifted, Abobodago, 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 Abobodago. Events, 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 Abobodago, 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 events, 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 above other gods. Above other gods.
Somebody say
every hour, you are good, Jesus. Jesus, you are a wonder. Jesus, you are a wonder. You are a wonder to my soul. You are a wonder. Jesus, you are a wonder. Jesus, you are a wonder. Are a wonder to my soul. Good and your mercy is forever. And you are good and your mercy is forever.
Just a vessel and nothing more. And when you're done, please take the glory. I'm satisfied just to see you glorified. Take the stage, Lord, and have your way. I'm your vessel, Lord, and nothing more. And when you're done, please take the glory. I'm satisfied Let your name be glorified.
Thank you, Jesus.
Let the name of Jesus
Thank you, Jesus.
alone be lifted high.
Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Have your way, Lord. Have your way. 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 In the mighty name of Jesus. Madusha Badabush. Legedenito Silavisha Darama. Mi protuzilia koteni marusha talizise. Maskatola dikete uziza lashidos. Legedeni shatalia kapote la disasesh. Nirabo shataya dara desoketa. Nezuza le shatlati uzedesh. Nituzija radikota.
And when you're done, please take your glory. I'm satisfied just to see you glorified. That's all I want. I'm satisfied to see Jesus glorified.
As we're going to appreciate God for His faithfulness upon us, let's thank Him because of His laying on of hands. I want every son and every daughter of God, wherever you are, to begin to say, Lord, I return all the glory back to you. Say, Lord, I thank you for this wonderful gift of life. Say, Lord, I thank you for this wonderful gift of life. Say, Daddy, I give you praise, for you are worthy to be praised. Say, Jesus, I lift up your name because you are my rock. Say, Daddy, I thank you because you are my defender. Say, Lord, I thank you because you are the Lord of hosts. You are the King of kings. Say, Lord, I thank you because of how great you are. Let your name be exalted. Let your name be praised. Please open your mouth and begin to give thanks to God. I want you to adore Him. I want you to appreciate Him. And I want every one of us to show forth our gratitude to the King of kings and to the Lord of lords. If you know God has been good to you in any magnitude, in any way, in any dimension, I want you to begin to give Him praise. Thank God the more, or thank God the way, or thank God how big God is in your life. If God is the whole world to you, I want you to bless His holy name. And I want you to qualify the greatness of God with everything inside of you. Appreciating with your song, appreciating with your worship. Appreciating with your hallelujah, appreciating with your thank you, Jesus. Appreciating with your heart, appreciating with your soul. Appreciate God with every part of your body. Say, Lord, I thank you because it's you all throughout the way. Say, it's only you, Lord, it's only you, it's only you, it's only you. Say, it's only you, oh Lord, it's only you. It's only you from the beginning till the end. There is no other God. It's only you, O Lord. It's only you. Therefore, if you know that it has been God and God alone, in every journey of your life, in every step, all throughout the way, you know that it has been God and God alone. I want you to begin to thank Him. Say, Lord, I thank you. Because if not for you that have been by my side, what would my Israel be saying by now? Therefore, I want you to thank God because of all the miles that God has helped you to pass. I want you to thank God for all the journey that God has strengthened you to come through. I want you to thank Him for all the destination that He has given to you. I want you to thank Him because of how He showed up throughout the journey. Give Him praise because of what He has done. Great things that He has done, lift His name higher. Great things that He has done, worship His majesty. For all the great things that God has done, bless His holy name. Say, Father, I give you praise, for you are worthy to be praised. Say, Jesus, I give you thanks, because there is none like you. Be thou exalted, O Lord, be thou magnified. Be thou exalted, O Lord, be thou glorified. Be thou exalted, O Lord, be thou worshipped. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' marvelous name, we have given thanks. Every son, every daughter of God, wherever you are, I want you to begin to plead the blood of Jesus. Say, I plead the blood of Jesus in all over this house, in all over this environment. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I plead the blood of Jesus. I plead the blood of Jesus in all over this house, in all over this environment, in the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I dip myself in the pool of the blood of Jesus. The Bible says, when I see the blood, I will pass over you. Therefore, begin to plead the blood of Jesus, the blood that speaks better than the blood of Abel. Whilst the blood of Abel keep crying for vengeance, whilst the blood of Abel keep crying for vengeance, the blood of Jesus is speaking of mercy, is speaking of forgiveness, is speaking of healing, is speaking of deliverance. And therefore, begin to plead the blood. Say, I plead the blood of Jesus in all over this house, in all over this environment, in all over this room. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, have your way in my life. Say, Jesus, have your way in my life. Have your way in my life. Have your way. Have your way. Have your way. Have your way, oh Lord, in my life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, have your way in my life. Have your way in my son. Have your way in my marriage. Have your way in my daughters. Have your way in my brothers. Have your way in my destiny. In the name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, have your way in my life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, you, my personal heaven, open in the name of Jesus. Say, you, the heaven of my prayer, open this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the heaven of your prayer open. Let your personal heaven open. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, the heaven of my prayer, open this morning. In the name of Jesus. Let the heaven of your prayer open. Let it 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 open. In the mighty name of Jesus. You will not pray amiss. In the mighty name of Jesus, you will not pray in vain. As you open your mouth to call upon the name of the Lord this morning, God will answer you. In the mighty name of Jesus, God will heal you. God will deliver you. God will sort you out. God will favor you. In the mighty name of Jesus, the name of God will answer for you today. In the mighty name of Jesus, the name of Jesus will answer in every area of your life. The name of Jesus will prevail in every destiny aspect of your life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, I barricade this environment with the fire of the Holy Ghost. Say, I barricade my life with the fire of the Holy Ghost. Say, I barricade my daughter. I barricade my son with the fire of the Holy Ghost. In the name of Jesus. Say, I barricade my brother. I barricade my sisters with the fire of the Holy Ghost. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I barricade my home. I barricade my destiny. I barricade my life with the fire of the Holy Ghost. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my marriage, be barricaded with Holy Ghost fire. Say, you, my body, be barricaded with Holy Ghost fire. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. As thou commanded the morning, that is what Job is asking. Job chapter 38 verse 12 said, as thou commanded the morning since thy days, as thou commanded the morning since thy day, and caused the day spring to know its place, and caused the day spring to know its place. Therefore, I want you to command the morning. Say, you this morning, hear the word of the Lord. Favor me in all ramifications of life. In all ramifications of life. In the name of Jesus. Say, you this morning, favor me in all ramifications of life. In the name of Jesus. Say, you this morning, hear the word of the Lord. Favor my righteous cause. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you this morning, hear the word of the Lord. Cooperate with my moving forward. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you this morning refuse to support the affliction of the enemy. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you this morning favor me and let my story change. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you this morning favor me and let me move forward in all glorious places of destiny. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Remember the book of Psalm 68 and verse 19. Blessed be the Lord who daily loaded us with benefit, even the God of our salvation. Blessed be the Lord who daily loaded us with benefits, even the God of our salvation. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Shout this prayer very louder. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Favor me. I am in your presence, O Lord. Heal me. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Let my story change. I am in your presence, O Lord. Let me move forward. I am in your presence, O Lord. Empower me with your stretched out arm. I am in your presence, O Lord. Breathe on me. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Beautify my life. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Clothe me with your glory. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Lift me up. Say, I am in your presence, O Lord. Lay your hands on me. In the mighty name of Jesus. Tarushadabikate. Lord Jesus, as we are all in your presence this morning, oh Lord, bless us, increase us, empower us, increase us. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' wonderful name, we've all prayed. Amen, amen, and amen. I want to say a very big good morning to every son and to every daughter of God, wherever you are. And I decree upon you by the power and the blood of Jesus that God will continue to strengthen your inner man in the mighty name of Jesus. As you trust God with all that you are, I decree and I declare that God will continue to entrust greatness into your hand in the name of Jesus. As you trust God with all of your life, I decree today that God will continue to entrust you with victory, with blessing, with opportunities, with open doors, with open heaven. In the mighty name of Jesus. As you call upon the name of the Lord this morning, the name of the Lord will minister to you. The name of the Lord will defend you. The name of the Lord will speak for you. The name of the Lord will prevail in all situations of your life. In the mighty name of Jesus. And you will continue to jubilate. You will continue to celebrate in the mighty name of Jesus. Please, wherever you are in any part of the world and wherever you are in any of these platforms, something is very important. That thing is called focus. Please and please, I want you to stay focused and never allow anything to distract you. As you remain focused and you continue to call the name of the Lord. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. You are in that name this morning and you will be redeemed, you will be saved, you will be delivered in the name of Jesus. So let your focus be intact. Continue to look unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of your faith, and it will show up in the name of Jesus. Also, you can engage. That is another vital thing you need to do. One thing that will make you to stay awake and that will make you to continue to engage is when you continue to communicate. How? Amen. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord. And as you continue to do that, you will know that you are into this, and everything that you're going to be doing is going to be ordered by the Lord in the mighty name of Jesus. So therefore, whichever platform you are, either you're on Facebook, please try to engage. Say amen, hallelujah, praise the Lord. If you cannot hear me, let me know that you cannot hear me. If you can hear me, let me know that, Pastor, we can hear you. And that will make everybody to be on board. As you do that, God bless you in the name of Jesus. Let's open our Bible to Ezekiel. The book of Ezekiel chapter 6, please. Everybody, please open your Bible to the book of Ezekiel chapter 6 and make sure that you are doing this, because there is no one of us, there is no any child of God that can ever grow, that can ever increase in faith without the word of God. That is the standard of God, and that should be your standard. So therefore, please bring out your Bible and open your Bible to the book of Ezekiel chapter 6. And let's quickly read from verse 1 to 4. Ezekiel chapter 6 from verse 1 to 4. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, and the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face toward the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them. Set thy face toward the mountains of Israel, and prophesy against them, and say, Ye mountains of Israel, hear the word of the Lord God. Thus saith the Lord God to the mountains, and to the hills, to the rivers, and to the valleys. Behold, I, even I, will bring a sword upon you, and I will destroy your high places. And I will destroy your high places, and your altar shall be desolate, and your images shall be broken, and I will cast down your slain men before your idols. I want you to look at a particular mountain in your life. Sickness is a mountain. I want you to picture a particular mountain. Disappointment is a mountain. I want you to picture a particular mountain. Failure at the edge of miracle is a mountain. I want you to look into a particular mountain. Lack and poverty is a mountain. I want you to picture a particular mountain. Distress and pain is a mountain. It's a valley. Therefore, I want you to decree very loud and clear. Say, I prophesy against you, you this mountain of failure. Today, be thou brought down and be destroyed in the name of Jesus. Say, I prophesy against you, this mountain of delay. Today, be thou pulled down and be destroyed forever. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I prophesy against you, this mountain of migraine. Be thou pulled down and be thou destroyed forever in the name of Jesus. Say, I prophesy against this valley life. Today is your end. Be terminated in the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I prophesy against this valley situation. That person that is at the lowest ebb. You've never been this low ever in your life. I want you to prophesy against that valley situation. Say, you, this valley situation in my life, I prophesy against you today, be terminated forever. In the mighty name of Jesus, be destroyed forever. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, this affliction, I prophesy against you, be pulled down, be destroyed. Be destroyed in the mighty name of Jesus. Marate soshita lenketu zenene ish radaba losoketelea boradiza. Let every mountain of affliction, every mountain of delay, every mountain of stagnancy, every mountain of attack be pulled down, be destroyed today in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name, those mountains are removed. Amen. Let's open to Daniel. Let's go quickly to the book of Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 5, and let's look into verse 18 to 20. The book of Daniel chapter 5. Daniel chapter 5, and let's look into verse 18 down to verse 20. Daniel chapter 5, and let's look into verse 18 down to 20. O thou king, the Most High God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom, and majesty, and glory, and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would he slew, and whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, mark that place in your Bible. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. That verse of that Bible, that particular verse of the scripture is so scary. That particular verse 20 is very, very scary. I want you to look into it again and see the way I'm reading it. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. I want you to decree very loud and very clear. Say, you, my life, hear the word of the Lord. Be delivered from pride. In the name of Jesus, be delivered from pride. Be delivered from pride. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my life, remain humbled. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, the spirit of humility, be released into my life. In the name of Jesus. You, the spirit of humility, be released into my life. For God resisted the pride and giveth grace to the humble. Say, Father, Lord, release the spirit of humility into my life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, every heart, every lifted heart, every arrogant heart, my life is not a place to dwell. Every agenda of peacock spirit, every agenda of peacock spirit in my life be removed, be destroyed. in the mighty name of Jesus. Say every agenda of peacock spirit be removed, be destroyed in the mighty name of Jesus. Let the spirit of humility dominate your life today in the name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, give me the grace of humility. Give me the virtue of humility. Take away pride from me in the mighty name of Jesus. Take away pride from me in the mighty name of Jesus. Give me a humble spirit. Give me a humble spirit. Give me a humble spirit in the mighty name of Jesus. Give me a humble spirit, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus, every arrogancy, every lifted heart, I decree and I declare today, be destroyed in the name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, give me a broken heart. Give me a contrite spirit. Give me a broken heart. Give me a contrite spirit. In the mighty name of Jesus, receive the spirit of humility. Receive an humble spirit. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Hosea chapter 2. The book of Hosea chapter 2. Make sure you are opening your Bible. Hosea chapter 2 verse 21 to 23. Hosea chapter 2 verse 21 to 23. The book of Hosea chapter 2 verse 21 to verse 23. And it shall come to pass in that day, I will hear, saith the Lord, I will hear the heavens, and they shall hear the earth. And the earth shall hear the corn, and the wine, and the oil, and they shall hear Jezreel. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that hath not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, Thou art my people, and they shall say, Thou art my God. I want you to look at verse 23 again, please. And I will sow her unto me in the earth, and I will have mercy upon her that had not obtained mercy. And I will say to them which were not my people, Thou art my people, and they shall say, Thou art my God. I want you to lift up your two hands to heaven, and I want you to cry single prayer like this. Say, my Father, my Father, my Father, have mercy on me. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I call upon you this morning, O Lord. Have mercy on me. Have mercy on me. Shout this one again louder. Say, Thou mercy of God, let my story change. Say, Thou mercy of God, change my story this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Keep lifting your eyes to two hands to God. Say, mercy of God, breathe on me. Mercy of God, shine on me. Mercy of God, prevail in my life. Mercy of God, prevail. Thou mercy of God, prevail in my life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Thou mercy of God, clothe every area of my destiny. Say, Thou mercy of God, appear in my favor. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Thou mercy of God, visit me this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Thou mercy of God, manifest in my life today. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Thou mercy of God, manifest in my son, manifest in my wife, manifest in my husband. Thou mercy of God, manifest in my land this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Let the mercy of God prevail in your situation. Let the mercy of God show up in your land. Let the mercy of God prevail in your situation. In the mighty name of Jesus. Let the mercy of God answer in your own case. In the mighty name of Jesus. Let the mercy of God answer for you. I pray for every son and every daughter of God praying the prayer of mercy this morning. Let the mercy of God answer in your situation. Let the mercy of God sort you out. Let the mercy of God prevail over your case. Let the mercy of God distinguish you. Let the mercy of God barricade your life. In the mighty name of Jesus, Thou mercy of God, give me a change of story. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, Thou mercy of God, lift me up. Say, Thou mercy of God, change my name. Say, Thou mercy of God, fight for me. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the mercy of God fight for you this morning. Let the mercy of God intervene for you. Let the mercy of God show up in your situation. In the mighty name of Jesus Christ, let the mercy of God speak for you at the corridor of power. Let the mercy of God make your name great. Let the mercy of God single you out from the crowd. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, thou mercy of God, single me out from the crowd. In the name of Jesus, say, thou mercy of God, single out my son from the crowd. Say, thou mercy of God, single out my daughter from the crowd. Say, thou mercy of God, single out my husband from the crowd. Thou mercy of God, single out my wife from the crowd and beautify us. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the mercy of God single you out from the crowd, and let that mercy of God distinguish you. Let that mercy of God beautify you. Let the mercy of God decorate you. In the mighty name of Jesus, be decorated by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus, be beautified by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus, be distinguished by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus, be promoted by mercy. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Please again, whenever you are asked to pray the prayer of mercy, I want you to pray it as if that is all your life depends upon. Whenever you are hearing the prayer of mercy, I want you to pray it and let heaven know that you are praying. I pray and I decree into your life this morning that the mercy of God will put a new song in your mouth. In the mighty name of Jesus. It is not because you qualify for it. The mercy of God will put a new song in your mouth this morning in the name of Jesus. Don't you know what the Bible says about mercy? I will have mercy upon whosoever I want to have mercy upon without no qualification. I will have mercy upon you, and there is nothing anybody can do about it. There is no qualification. I decree upon you this morning. It is not a matter of, oh, maybe I can do this better or I cannot do it more. I pray for whoever that is hearing this voice of mercy this morning, that regardless of wherever you are in the journey of your life this morning, let the mercy of God change your story now. In the name of Jesus, let the mercy of God change your story, 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 change your story. Let the mercy of God prevail in your life. Let the mercy of God move you forward. Let the mercy of God and crown your destiny. Let the mercy of God move you forward. Let the mercy of God distinguish you. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. So when you are looking at that particular Hosea chapter 2, and you begin to read from verse 21 down to 23, it is the mercy of God that make your seed to bud. Amen. When you put a seed in the ground, it is the mercy of God that make it to perish and bring forth fruit, and you get the harvest. It is the mercy of God that make you to move from a particular point to get your destination. It is the mercy of God that make you to be able to enjoy what others are saying that, but there is no way here. It's the mercy of God that make you to move in the midst of the wolves, and every of their tongues cleave to their mouth. It is the mercy of God that makes you to be among the lion, and they don't have appetite at all. I pray for someone this morning. Either you understand this statement or not, the mercy of God will speak for you when others are unable to speak. In the mighty name of Jesus, the mercy of God will qualify you where others are disqualified. In the mighty name of Jesus, the mercy of God will avail for you where no man can prevail. In the mighty name of Jesus, the mercy of God will speak for you at the corridor of greatness. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Joel chapter 2. Book of Joel chapter 2. Book of Joel chapter 2. And let's look into verse 12 to 13. Joel chapter 2. Verse 12 to 13. Therefore also now, saith the Lord, turn ye even to me with all your heart, and with fasting, and with weeping, and with mourning, and rend your heart, not your garments. Rend your heart, not your garments. Say verse 13 again, and rend your heart, and not your garments, and turn unto the Lord your God. For he is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repented him of the evil. And I want every one of you to pray, please. And I want you all to decree very loud and very, very clear. Say, Father, Lord. Shout that prayer very loud and clear. Say, Father, Lord, avail in my life in the mighty name of Jesus. Avail in my situation in the mighty name of Jesus. Say, avail in my life in the mighty name of Jesus. Say, avail in my situation in the mighty name of Jesus. Avail in my life, avail in my situation in the mighty name of Jesus. Avail in my life, avail in my situation. In the mighty name of Jesus, avail in my life, avail in my situation. In the mighty name of, say, rend your heart and not your garment, and turn unto the Lord your God, for he is gracious and mercy, slow to anger, and of great kindness, and repented him not of evil. Therefore now also saith the Lord, turn you even to me with all your heart. Say, Father, Lord, let my heart be connected to you, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, let my heart be knitted to you. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my heart, be connected to God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my heart, be connected, be connected, be connected, be connected. Be connected to God throughout every moment of my life. In the name of Jesus. Say, you, my heart, you will not wander away from the presence of God. Say, you, my heart, you will not wander away from the presence of God. In the mighty name of Jesus, let your heart be connected to God. In the mighty name of Jesus, let your heart be connected. Let my heart be connected to God. In the mighty name of Jesus, as the heart pants after the water brooks, so my heart pants after you, O Lord. Say, you, my heart, begin to pant after God. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, you, my heart, begin to pant after God. In the name of Jesus, let your heart begin to pant after God. If it is God, I'm going into it. If it is God, I'm going into it. So let your heart begin to pant after God, as the heart pants after the water brooks. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amos chapter 5 and verse 24. Amos chapter 5 and verse 24. Amos 5 and verse 24. But let judgment run down as waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. But let judgment run down as a water. But let judgment run down as a waters, and righteousness as a mighty stream. Say, Father, Lord, let judgment be released upon the head of my enemy today in the name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, let judgment be released upon the head of the troubler of my Israel today. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, let judgment run down as a water upon the troubler of my Israel today. In the mighty name of Jesus. Let judgment be released upon the head of your enemies, upon the head of the troubler of your soul. Let judgment be released upon every affliction. Let judgment be released upon every attacker. In the mighty name of Jesus, let judgment be released upon every evil agenda of darkness. Let judgment be released upon every household enemies. In the mighty name of Jesus, let judgment be released upon every evil affliction. In the mighty name of Jesus, let judgment be released upon the wickedness of the wicked. But as for you, I decree upon you by the power in the name of Jesus, let righteousness as a mighty stream, let righteousness begin to clothe you. Let righteousness begin to empower you. Say, righteousness begin to empower me. Righteousness begin to engrace me. In the name of Jesus, righteousness of God begin to clothe me. Righteousness of God begin to empower me. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the righteousness of God begin to avail. Let the righteousness of God begin to speak for you. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, that righteousness of God continue to clothe me. In the mighty name of Jesus, thou righteousness of God become part of my life. Thou righteousness of God become everything for me. In the mighty name of Jesus, you, my life, continue to live a life of righteousness. You, my life, continue to move, continue to walk in righteousness. You, my life, continue to dwell dwell in righteousness. You, my life, continue to be in righteousness. You, my life, continue to dwell in righteousness. In the mighty name of Jesus. Righteousness exalt a nation. Sin is a reproach to any people. Therefore, let righteousness continue to exalt you. Say, righteousness continue to exalt me. Righteousness continue to uphold me. In the mighty name of Jesus. Therefore, I decree upon your life today, be upholded by righteousness. Be upholded by righteousness. Be lifted up by righteousness. In the mighty name of Jesus, let your head be lifted up by righteousness. In the mighty name of Jesus, let your home be lifted up by righteousness. Let your destiny be lifted up by righteousness. In the mighty name of Jesus, let your glory be lifted up by righteousness. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. We are in another section, people of God, and the section that we are in is a section of confession. It's a section of confession, please. I want every one of you to say very loud and clear. Say, the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, came upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though an host should encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Though war should rise against me, in this will I be confident. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after, that I dwell in the house of the Lord all day, to behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple. For in the time of trouble, he shall hide me in his pavilion. In the secret of his tabernacle shall he hide me. He shall set me up upon a rock, and now shall it be lifted up. Above my enemies round about me. Therefore will I offer in his tabernacle sacrifices of joy. I will sing, yea, I will sing praises unto the Lord. I will rejoice in thy salvation. And in the name of our God, we will set up a banners. The Lord fulfill all my petitions. Now know I that the Lord saved his anointed. He will hear him from his holy heaven. With the saving strength of his right hand. Some trust in chariots, and some in horses. But we will remember the name of the Lord our God. They are brought down and fallen, but we are risen and stand upright. Say, Lord, let the King hear us when we call. Amen. Say, the King will hear me whenever I call in the name of Jesus. Say, the King will hear me whenever I call in the name of Jesus. Shout that prayer very louder. Say, the King will hear me whenever I call. The King will hear me whenever I call in the name of Jesus. Say it more than that. Say, the King will hear me whenever I call in the name of Jesus. I have decreed, I have declared, and so shall it be. in the name of Jesus. Because you have decreed this morning, because you have declared, so shall it be, in the name of Jesus. Because you have decreed, because you have declared, so shall it be, in the name of Jesus. So shall it be, so shall it be, so shall it be. Because you have decreed, because you have declared, so shall it be, in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We are in another section of interceding. I want every one of us to pray for someone. I want you to decree into the life of someone, please. Pray for a brother, pray for a sister, pray for a son, pray for a daughter. Decree very loud and clear firstly. Say, you, this particular sister in the labor ward. Say, this particular sister in the labor room. Hear the word of the Lord. Receive the anointing to deliver with ease. Receive the anointing to deliver with ease. Receive the anointing to deliver with ease. Receive the anointing to deliver with ease right now. In the mighty name of Jesus, that particular sister in the labor room, hear the word of the Lord right now. Receive the anointing to deliver with ease. In the mighty name of Jesus, we say no to any kind of affliction. We say no to any kind of attack. We say no to any kind of evil work of darkness. In the mighty name of Jesus, we lift up this sister at the labor room into your hand, oh Lord. Let her deliver with ease. In the mighty name of Jesus, receive strength right now. In the name of Jesus, receive power right now. In the name of Jesus, receive grace to deliver with ease. After the order of the Hebrew sisters, in the name of Jesus, receive grace, receive strength. In the mighty name of Jesus, you will deliver with ease. You will be alive. Your baby will be alive. In the mighty name of Jesus, every evil yoke of darkness concerning your life today is hereby destroyed. In the mighty name of Jesus, whatever defeat you may have been experiencing at this level before, you will never experience such defeat again forever. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Please, I still want you to pray, please. And I want you to decree again very loud and very clear. Say, you, the environment surrounding this sister. Say, you, the environment surrounding this sister. Yet the word of the Lord will release the fire of the Holy Ghost. Will release the fire of the Holy Ghost around this sister. The fire of the Holy Ghost will release the fire. Will release the fire. Will release the fire of the Holy Ghost around this particular sister. In the mighty name of Jesus, will release the fire. Will release the fire. Will release the fire of the Holy Ghost around her right now. In the mighty name of Jesus, no work of darkness, no agenda of the enemy will ever prevail against her. In the mighty name of Jesus, she is covered. The baby is covered by the blood of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, every negative thought against this particular brother. Say, every negative thought singing into the ear of this sister. Say, every negative words speaking into the conscious and the subconscious of this boy. Every negative words speaking into the conscious and the subconscious of this girl. Today is the end of this voice. Be silenced forever. Be silenced, be silenced, be silenced. In the mighty name of Jesus, we silence every negative voice speaking into the conscious and the subconscious of this boy. In the mighty name of Jesus, every negative voice speaking into the mind, speaking into the ear of this particular sister, you, that wicked voice of destruction, be silenced today in the name of Jesus. You will not hear the voice of this wicked stranger anymore. You will continue to hear the voice of the cross. You will continue to hear the voice of Jesus. You will not hear the voice of stranger anymore in the name of Jesus. Every evil negative word, every evil negative statement, every evil negative plan against your life today are hereby terminated in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. I pray for that particular brother. I decree into that particular life of that sister, this wicked voice that is always ringing negative things into your mind, into your brain, into your head every time. This negative wicked voice that is always forceful. I decree today, Let that wicked voice of darkness be destroyed today in the name of Jesus. The voice that always comes like a force to compel you to do negative things. I decree into the life of that brother, into the life of that sister, into the life of this boy, into the life of this girl. You, that wicked voice of darkness, be silenced today forever in the name of Jesus. I take away your cord. I destroy your association with this life. In the mighty name of Jesus, you will never have anything anymore against him, against her. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. I want you to pray again for another person, please. And I want all of you to decree very loud and very, very clear. Say, oh God, arise. Say, oh God, arise. Destroy the yoke of failure at the edge of miracle in the life of this daughter. Destroy the yoke of failure at the edge of miracle. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say every battle with near success syndrome. Say every battle with near success syndrome in the life of this sister, in the life of this particular sister, every battle with near success syndrome be destroyed today in her life. In the name of Jesus. You, the battle of near success syndrome in the life of this particular brother, you, the battle of near success syndrome, be terminated today, be destroyed today. In the mighty name of Jesus. Battle with failure at the edge of miracle. Every battle with failure, every affliction of failure at the edge of victory. Let that failure, let that battle, let that rage be terminated in the life of any son of God. Be terminated in the life of any daughter of God this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. I want you to pray again for another person, please. Say, you, this defiling dream. Or say, you the dream of defilement. Say, you, this particular dream of defilement that manifests, that is always manifesting in the physical. Say, you, this defilement dream that is always manifesting in the physical, in the life of this sister, in the life of this brother. Today is your end. Be destroyed by the power and the blood of Jesus. Be destroyed by the power in the blood of Jesus. Be destroyed, be destroyed, be destroyed by the power in the blood of Jesus. You, this dream of defilement that always come in a forceful manner, even to the physical. I decree and I declare, let that particular dream of defilement be destroyed today in the life of that sister. Be destroyed today in the life of that brother. In the mighty name of Jesus. Every dream that is always fighting against your glory, every dream that is always fighting against your virtue, let that particular dream of defilement be destroyed this morning in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, oh God of marriage. Say it louder. Say, oh God of marriage, bless this particular family with the fruit of the womb. In the name of Jesus. Say, oh God of marriage, bless this particular family with the fruit of the womb. In the name of Jesus, with the fruit of the womb, with the fruit of the womb. In the mighty name of Jesus, you, this particular family, you, this particular couple, be blessed this morning with many children as you want. In the mighty name of Jesus, be blessed, be blessed, be blessed. Receive the blessing of children. Receive the blessing of children. In the name of Jesus. Father, Lord, I decree, oh Lord, that this particular family today, they will receive the blessing of healthy children. In the mighty name of Jesus, of the fire, maketh the heart sick when the desire cometh. It is a tree of life. Let their desire, O Lord, be released. Let their desire, O Lord, concerning children be released. Let their desire concerning family be granted, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. Let their desire concerning fruit of the womb be granted, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. We are in another section. And this particular section is a section where you pray for yourself. Please, I want you to pray for yourself. Please, I don't want you to be quiet. Please, I want you to try as much as possible. If you can still talk to your son. You can still talk to your daughter. You can still talk to your brother. You can still talk to your sister. If you can still talk to anyone that you love that they should pray. If that is the only thing you could do to at least make them pray, please go ahead and do it. I want them to pray. But if you are here this morning, you are not born again. You are here this morning, you are still living a life that does not please God. You are still living a life of sin. You are here this morning, you are still engaging in secret sin. I want you to know that Jesus loves you. I want you to know that the plan of God for you is not for you to live a defeated life. I want you to know that the plan of God for you is to live a victorious life. Jesus died that you may have life and that you may have it more abundantly. He died so as for you to be a champion and never for you to be a slave. Jesus died so as for you to be rich and never for you to be poor. Never for you to be poor physically, never for you to be poor financially, never for you to be poor spiritually. And that is why he died. He died so as for him to destroy the work of the devil in your life. Therefore, the only thing you need to do today is to cooperate with Jesus. The only thing you need to do today is to accept Jesus into your life as your Lord and personal Savior. The only thing you need to do today is to make Jesus your friend. The only thing you need to do today is to make Jesus your companion. The only thing you need to do today is to make Jesus your Lord and your Savior. And immediately you make up your mind to make him the Lord of your soul. You make up your mind to make Jesus the Lord of your life. He will definitely pardon you. He will definitely accept you. He will definitely empower you in the name of Jesus. His forgiveness is limitless. The forgiveness of Jesus is limitless. His love is unconditional. And that is why he's calling you today to come home, my son, to come home, my daughter. So if you are here this morning, you've not given your life to the Lord Jesus as your Lord, as your Savior, please lay your right hand upon your chest. You say, Pastor, I'm ready to give my life to Jesus. You say, Pastor, you know what? I have been moving. My Christian life is like a roller coaster. I've been going up and down. But today, I want to accept Jesus. I want to follow him. I want to serve him. Lay your right hand upon your chest. God bless you. That is the best decision you could ever make. Lay your right hand upon your chest. Say after me very loud and clear. Say, Lord Jesus, I thank you this morning for this wonderful opportunity that was given to me. I accept Jesus into my life today as my Lord and Savior. I'm a sinner, but now I accept you into my life, O Lord, as my Lord and Savior. Thank you, Father, because you died for me. On the third day you rose again, so as for me to have life and to have it more abundantly. From today, Lord, you alone I will continue to follow. I will continue to serve. You alone I will continue to give my time and every of my resources to. In the mighty name of Jesus. Be the Lord of my soul. Be the Lord of my spirit. Empower me, O Lord, to continue to live a life that pleases God. Thank you for saving me. Thank you for favoring me. Thank you for enlisting me among those that will make it at the end of the day. In Jesus' wonderful name, we have prayed. Amen, amen, and amen. I want to say a very big congratulations to every son and to every daughters of God, every son and every daughter of God saying yes to Jesus this morning. And as you accepted Jesus this morning into your life as your Lord and personal Savior, He will continue to strengthen you. He will continue to empower you. In the name of Jesus, you will live a fulfilled life. You will live a life that will continue to please God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Please take note that there is one aim of this prayer. There is one target of this prayer. And number one target of this prayer is to make you a prayer champion. Number one focus of this prayer every day is for you to live a victorious life as a son and as a daughter of God. The other purpose of this prayer every day is for you to become a son and a daughter of God, that you will trust God with all that you have. You will trust God with everything, and you will never be afraid of any device or any affliction of the devil. And that is why we are here every day. So as for you to commit your first 2 hours every day into the hand of God, and when you can tithe your 2 hours every day before God, it means that your remaining other hours of the day are secured and are covered. And you'll be able to do and go anywhere you want to go without fear, without torment, without affliction, without any other attack of the enemy. And immediately you begin to do that with us on a daily basis. I decree and I declare that the coverage upon all the members of these early risers will continue to cover you wherever you go as well. In the mighty name of Jesus. Please and please, if you are here for the first time and you are giving your life to the Lord Jesus, I want you to encourage yourself as David did, encourage himself in the Lord is God. You have to encourage yourself, and you have to be disciplined in order for you to be able to get this done. And talk to sons and daughters of God around you to do the same. As you do that, God bless you in the name of Jesus. Congratulations, congratulations, and congratulations. Amen. Everybody now, please. I want you to call upon the name of the Lord. And I want you to decree this morning very loud and clear. Say, oh heavens. Shout that prayer louder. Say, oh heaven, declare your glory over my life. Say, oh heavens, declare your glory over my life. Declare your glory, declare your glory, declare your glory, declare your glory over my life. Say, oh heavens, declare your glory over my life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, oh heavens, declare your glory over my life. In the name of Jesus. Say, oh heavens, declare your glory over the life of my son, over the life of my daughter, over the life of my wife, over the life of my husband. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, oh heavens, declare your glory over my life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, oh heavens, declare your glory over my life. In the name of Jesus. Declare your glory over my life. Declare your glory over my life. Let the heaven declare his glory over your life. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, my light. Say it very well. Say, my light. Hear the word of the Lord. Shine brighter and brighter. Say, shine brighter and brighter. Say, my light. Hear the word of the Lord. Shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Jesus. Let your light continue to shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my light, hear the word of the Lord. Continue to shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my light, continue to shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the light of God in you continue to shine, continue to shine, continue to shine. Let that light in you continue to shine until the appearing of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, you, my light, you, the light of God in me, continue to shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus, let that light in you, let the light of God in you continue to shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Christ Jesus. In the mighty name of Jesus, your light will not be dimmed. In the name of Jesus, your light will not be reduced. Your light will not be dimmed. In the mighty name of Jesus, your light will not be switched off. In the mighty name of Jesus, your light will continue to shine brighter and brighter until the appearing of Jesus Christ. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Please, this prayer is important. I want you to pray it. Say, miracles that surpass explanation. Say, miracles that surpasses explanation. The miracle that surpasses explanation manifests in my life this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, the miracle that surpasses explanation manifest in my life this morning. Manifest, 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 manifest in my life this morning. In the name of Jesus. The miracle that surpasses any form of explanation manifest in my business this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, the miracle that surpasses explanation manifest in my home, manifest in my marriage, manifest in my son, manifest in the life of my daughter, manifest in my destiny. In the mighty name of Jesus. The miracle that I cannot even explain. Let the miracle that surpasses explanation manifest in your marriage, manifest in your son, manifest in your daughter, manifest in your situation. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, the miracle that surpasses explanation manifest in my life. Manifest, manifest, manifest. Lekato soto sheda, legedado sabini ekekirwa, legado shabali ankata. Say, the miracle that surpasses any form of explanation manifest in my son, manifest in my daughter, manifest in my brother, manifest in my sister. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, you, my glorious dream as a baby. Say, you, my glorious dream as a teenager. Say, you, my glorious dream as a teenager. You, my glorious dream as a baby. You, my glorious dream as a young adult. I call you forth this morning. I call you forth. Manifest in the name of Jesus. Let your glorious dream as a teenager, let your glorious dream as a newborn babe, let your glorious dream as a young adult come forth this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. If it is glorious, it is God. If it is glorious, it is God. Therefore, let your glorious dream as a young adult, let your glorious dream as a son, as a daughter of God, let that glorious dream today manifest, 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 manifest. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my glorious dream when I was growing up, you, that glorious dream manifest. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. I want you to close your eyes and say this other prayer very loud. Say, Father, Lord, give me a new beginning. In the name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, give me a new beginning. Give me a new beginning in the name of Jesus. Shout that prayer very loud and very clear. Say, Father, Lord, give me a new beginning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Jesus, give me a new beginning, a new beginning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, Father, Lord, give me a new beginning. In the mighty name of Jesus, give me a new beginning. In the name of Jesus. Say, in this marriage, give me a new beginning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, concerning my walk with God, give me a new beginning, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, concerning raising my children, O Lord, give me a new beginning. In the name of Jesus. Say, concerning the slate of my life, give me a new beginning, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus. Give me a new beginning. In the name of Jesus. Father, Lord, as many that are trusting you for a new beginning, O Lord, in one area or the other, let a new beginning, O Lord, be released into them now. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, by your mercy, O Lord. Say that in more than that. Remember the prayer of mercy. Say, by your mercy, O Lord, dry up my tears. In the name of Jesus. Say, by your mercy, O Lord, dry up my tears. Dry up my tears. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, by your mercy, O Lord, dry up my tears. Dry up my tears. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, by your mercy, O Lord, dry up my tears. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, by your mercy, 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 O Lord, dry up my tears. In the mighty name of Jesus. I pray for as many that are crying secretly, as many that whenever they get to that junction of that particular area of life, they begin to weep, they begin to cry. I decree today by mercy, let that tears be dried up. In the name of Jesus, by mercy, O Lord, let the tears of this sister dry up. In the mighty name of Jesus, as touching this sister, trusting you for the fruit of the womb for so long, and she's tired now, she's weak now, and she has no strength to even call upon the name of the Lord anymore. Even the tears of her face are dried up. By mercy this morning, O Lord, let that tears dry up, Lord. Lekatuzulia sheda, meteskedalia shadalaga, medusodole shegalada roseza, negedosobalia shegalia kota, ledosobenia, that particular son, that particular daughter that look as if she's got nobody in the whole wide world, and it look as if she's the only one in the world. No one ever cares, no one ever asks about her, Lord. And whenever she remember this particular pain, she continue to cry uncontrollably. Jesus, dry up these tears, Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus, dry up our tears, Lord. By mercy, O Lord, dry up our tears. Dry up our tears. In the mighty name of Jesus, Those that sow with tears shall reap with joy. As they are sowing the seed of prayer this morning, let their tears be dried up in the name of Jesus. Let the tears in the face of this sister be dried up in the mighty name of Jesus. Father, Lord, let our tears be dried up in the mighty name of Jesus. I want you to cry loud to God. Say, by your mercy, O Lord, dry up my tears in the name of Jesus. Say, by your mercy, O Lord, dry up my tears in the mighty name of Jesus. Those that sow in tears shall reap with joy in the mighty name of Jesus. Lord, as they are sowing this seed of prayer, whosoever that is crying as a result in any area of life, whosoever that is crying deeply, whenever they get to that junction of life, whosoever that one particular affliction, one particular delay, one particular attack, always make them to continue to cry uncontrollably. Jesus, today, by your mercy, let such tears dried up in the mighty name of Jesus. Put a laughter in their mouth. Put your laughter, O Lord. Put your laughter in their mouth. Put your laughter in their mouth, O Lord. Let them smile again. Let them laugh again. Let them laugh again. Let them smile again. In the mighty name of Jesus. Let them laugh again. Let them smile again. Let them be happy again. In the mighty name of Jesus. Light up their countenance, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus, light up their countenance, O Lord. Let these tears dry up, O Lord. Let these tears dry up, O Lord. In the mighty name of Jesus, put a laughter in their mouth, O Lord. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. And I want you to say it very well. Say, fill my mouth. Say it very well. Say, fill my mouth with laughter this morning, O Lord. Fill my mouth with laughter this morning, O Lord. Fill my mouth with laughter this morning, O Lord, concerning my son. In the name of Jesus, fill my mouth with laughter this morning concerning my career. In the name of Jesus, say, fill my mouth with laughter this morning concerning my life. In the name of Jesus, say, fill my life, fill my mouth with laughter this morning concerning my health. In the name of Jesus, say, fill my mouth with laughter this morning, O Lord, concerning my husband. In the name of Jesus, say, fill my mouth with laughter this morning concerning my business. In the name of Jesus, say, fill my mouth with laughter this morning concerning this present situation. In the mighty name of Jesus, let go. Fill your mouth with laughter. Legato sodole shagalabarados migegaluatala jijeru alia nigedoso beni ashaglali ankota megadoso bi shagalalalua liderosh indiga bradi kote nesopataladi gerushe bladia maso plete legado shekenini antaklada rito sobelia shagla legedeni kotozuza yagarada dusheda. Let God fill your mouth with laughter this morning in the name of Jesus. Let God fill your mouth with laughter, with laughter, with laughter in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. I want you to pray. You know, when you are talking to God, this is the way you talk to God. You beg God. You beg God. And when you beg God, you command situation. You beg God. And when the only person you are allowed to beg, the only one person you are allowed to cry to is God. And that God of heaven, Jesus Christ of Nazareth, will wipe away your tears. We put laughter in your mouth. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, any power assigned to mock God. Say, any power assigned to make God a liar in my life. Say, any power assigned to make God a liar in my life. Enter into everlasting bondage. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, any power assigned to make God a liar, in my life. Enter into everlasting bondage. Enter into everlasting bondage. In the mighty name of Jesus. Any power assigned to make God a liar in your life, enter into everlasting bondage. Let that power enter into everlasting bondage. In the mighty name of Jesus. Any power from anywhere assigned to make God a liar in your life, let them enter into bondage there. Let them be defeated. Let such power be defeated. Let such power be destroyed. Let such power be defeated. Let such power be destroyed. In the mighty name of Jesus. Any power assigned to make God a liar in my life, enter into everlasting bondage. In the mighty name of Jesus. Leketo zizala sheda, le granda bazuzo beleshedos, negadosha baliakuta, le gabranda dosa zorisha. Any power assigned to make God a liar in my life, enter into everlasting bondage. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Say today, I position myself for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say today, I position myself for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I position myself today for divine intervention. For divine intervention. In the name of Jesus. Say, you, my life, be positioned for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my marriage, be positioned for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my business, be positioned for divine intervention. In the name of Jesus. Say, you, my glory, be positioned for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my son, you, my daughter, be positioned this morning for divine intervention in the name of Jesus. Say, you, my life, you, my marriage, you, my son, you, my daughter, you, my husband, be positioned for divine intervention. Today, in the name of Jesus, be positioned, be positioned, be positioned, be positioned for divine intervention in the mighty name of Jesus. You, this son, you, this daughter, be positioned this morning for divine intervention in the mighty name of Jesus. Be positioned today, be positioned today for divine intervention in the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my life, you, my marriage, you, my career, you, my destiny, you, my virtue, be positioned for divine intervention in the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you, my legs, yet the word of the Lord, be positioned for divine intervention this morning. Say, you, the journey of my life, be positioned for divine intervention this morning in the name of Jesus. Be divinely positioned, be rightly positioned for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus, let your children be positioned for divine intervention. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, thou resources of heaven. Thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy. Say, thou resources of heaven, arise, promote me by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy. Arise, promote me by mercy. Arise, promote me by mercy. Arise, promote me by mercy. Say, thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy. In the name of Jesus. That thing called promotion cometh not from the south, from the east, from the west, from the north, but it's cometh from the Lord. And God give it to whoever he didn't give it to. Therefore say, thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus. Lega paradosizekete, nega soda shabala dara, lega branda dosogeni atozizesh, nege grada dozizabilia. Thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the resources of heaven arise, promote you by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. It is from heaven that the sun shines. It is from the heavens that the rain falls. It is from the heaven that all the galaxies stays. It is from the heavens that all beautiful things from God are taken from. There are a lot of resources that we cannot start to mention them now. that if not those resources from heaven, those things that are here on earth will never be able to stay. Therefore, I want you to pray again, and I want you to decree. There is a particular resources, and there are a lot of resources. There's a particular resource, and there are a lot of resources that are from heaven that will make your life better, that will make your life great, that will make your life the best. And you need to pray those resources into your life this morning. I want you to know that the only thing that will make this prayer not to answer is when the name of Jesus is not included. When the name of Jesus is not attached to that prayer, but immediately you attach the name of Jesus to it, you will be a grateful son and a grateful daughter of God. You will be a grateful son and a grateful daughter to say, God answered me. And God will answer you in the name of Jesus, because of someone that is just waking up and you are just about to pray. I want that particular person that this prayer is meant for again to decree very loud and clear. Say, thou resources of heaven. Say, thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus. If this is the only prayer you can pray very well this morning, congratulations, child of God. Congratulations, child of God. Say, thou resources of heaven, arise and promote me by mercy, by mercy, by mercy, by mercy, by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus, let the resources of heaven arise and promote you by mercy this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. I decree into the life of as many that this particular prayer is meant for. I pray for as many that this particular prayer is meant for. Receive the resources of heaven. Receive the resources. Receive the resources. Receive it. 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 Receive the resources of heaven this morning by mercy. In the mighty name of Jesus. Receive the resources of heaven this morning for your promotion. Receive the resources of heaven this morning that will promote you, that will increase you, that will bless you, that will enlarge your coast, that will favor your righteous cause. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, you the cause of stagnation. Say, you the cause of stagnation. Today is your end in my life. Be eradicated. In the name of Jesus, be eradicated. Be eradicated. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, you the cause of stagnation. Today is your end in my life. Be eradicated. In the name of Jesus. Be wiped off. In the mighty name of Jesus, be eradicated, be wiped off. In the mighty name of Jesus, say, you the cause of stagnation in any area of my life. Today is your end. Be eradicated, be wiped off. In the name of Jesus, be eradicated and be wiped off. La kashota la lalij, miko sobele derukata. Legdi sudini ataligeroa nezabla shablalia katalada dozeni keshedos baru apetanigana. As many, oh Lord, that has been battling, oh Lord, as many, oh Lord, that has been battling, oh Lord, with the curse of stagnation. Let that particular cause of stagnation be eradicated in your life this morning. In the mighty name of Jesus. You the cause of stagnation in this marriage, in this business, in this life, in this destiny, in this son, in this daughter. You the cause of stagnation. Be wiped off today in the name of Jesus. Be destroyed by fire in this life today in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, every satanic trick to disorganize me. Say, every satanic trick to disorganize my journey of destiny. Pray, please. Say, every satanic trick to disorganize the journey of my destiny. Backfire by fire. In the name of Jesus. Say, every satanic trick to disorganize the journey of my destiny. Backfire by thunder in the name of Jesus. Backfire by fire, backfire by thunder, backfire by fire, backfire by thunder. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say every satanic trick to disorganize the journey of my destiny. Backfire by fire in the name of Jesus. Say every satanic trick to take away my joy, every satanic trick to pollute my peace, be disorganized in the name of Jesus. Let satanic trick against your home, against your marriage, against your son, against your daughter, any evil trick, any witchcraft trick to disorganize the journey of your life, let such satanic trick be destroyed now in the mighty name of Jesus. Maratishitarush. Nikegera katusha, yabladi nusobele, niketusu zapalada raga. Every satanic trick to disorganize your marriage, every satanic trick to disorganize the journey of your children, let those wicked tricks of darkness be destabilized, be destroyed in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Father, we give you praise. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you for this glorious deliverance and this wonderful gift released into the life of children, released into the life of sons and daughters of God. As you are set to today, you will continue to walk in your freedom. As you are set to today, you will continue to walk in this availability of victory. You will continue to walk in this plenteous favor. In the mighty name of Jesus, you will not suffer any form of scarcity again in your life, in your journey, in your pursuit of destiny. In the mighty name of Jesus, you will not suffer any form of scarcity again. In the mighty name of Jesus, God will continue to make your heaven to open. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. I want someone to pray. And I want you to take this prayer very, very serious. I want you to shout this prayer very loud and very, very clear. Say, any house. I want you to pray very well. Say, any house that is created for me underneath the water. It is not for everybody, but this particular person, that prayer is for you. Say, you, this house created for me underneath the water. I destroy you today and I decree myself free in the mighty name of Jesus. Declare yourself free now. Declare yourself free now in the mighty name of Jesus. Whatever that is making you to go into the water day by day, any power that is always conditioning you to go into the water, whatever habitation you have with water, I decree today, let God deliver you. Let God deliver that son. Let God deliver that daughter. In the mighty name of Jesus, be delivered from the power of the water. In the mighty name of Jesus, be delivered from the affliction of the water world. In the mighty name of Jesus, be delivered, be delivered, be delivered, be delivered, be delivered, be delivered today finally. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. I want us to pray for all the partners to the Early Risers. You're a partner to the Early Riser, please. I want you to pray this prayer very well. And I want you to shout the prayer very loud and very, very clear. Say, my divine access to the next level. Pray very well. Say, my divine access to the next level manifest easily. In the mighty name of Jesus, my divine access to the next level manifest easily, manifest easily, manifest easily, manifest easily in the name of Jesus. My divine access to the next level manifest easily. Let your divine access to the next level manifest easily this morning in the name of Jesus. Say, my divine access to the next level manifest easily in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, God said it. Shout it very loud and clear. Say, God said it. I believe it. Say, God said it. I believe it. Shout it the third time. Say, God said it. I believe it. That my life shall continue to move forward. I will never go backward. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, God said it. I believe it. That my life will continue to move forward. I will never go backward. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, God said it, I believe it. That I will be above only, I will never be beneath. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, God said it, I believe it. That I will continue to be above only, I will never be beneath. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, God said it, I believe it. God said it, I believe it. In the name of Jesus. I will be above, I will never be beneath. In the name of Jesus. God said it, you believe it, you will manifest it. God said it, you believe it, you will manifest it. God said it, you believe it. You will manifest it in the name of Jesus. You will continue to be above. You will never be beneath. You will continue to move from glory to glory. You will never be deleted. You will never be demoted. In the mighty name of Jesus, you will never be demoted. You will continue to move from glory to glory, from favor to favor, from honor to honor, from power to power. In the mighty name of Jesus, God said it, you believe it, hear the word of the Lord. Begin to manifest it. In the mighty name of Jesus, God said it, you believe it, begin to manifest it. You will continue to be above only. You will never be beneath. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Lord, I lift up all the partners to the early risers to you this morning, O Lord. By your word, let them all continue to enjoy pleasant surprises. In the name of Jesus, by your word, O Lord, let their line continue to fall into pleasant places. In the mighty name of Jesus, by your word, O Lord, let them continue to reap harvest of breakthrough, harvest of victory, harvest of good health, harvest of sound mind. In the name of Jesus, by your word, O Lord, let their story change. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now, quickly, please, let's pray for our children. I want you to pray for your son. Remember, the best of investments that you could ever invest into the life of any son after prayer is education. You pray prayer first, that is putting God first. So when you put God first and all other things come into it. So because God is the first, every other thing that you are inputting into the life of your children, then they will now begin to work for them. So continue to invest God into the account of their life. And as you invest God and other glorious things like education, then that will make the education to come up with quality results and with good life that will make them not to destroy themselves, that will make them to be useful for the mother, the father, and for the whole world. Therefore, invest prayer as you are investing education and other things into their lives. I want you to now pray, please. And I want you to decree very loud and very, very clear. Say, you, my son. Say, you, my daughter. Arise and shine to the glory of God in the land of the living. Arise and shine to the glory of God in the land of the living. Arise and shine to the glory of God in the land of the living. You, my son, you, my daughter, arise and shine to the glory of God in the land of the living in the name of Jesus. I pray for these sons, O Lord, and these daughters, that they all will continue to rise and shine to the glory of God in the land of the living in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Say, you, my son. Shout it louder. Say, you, my daughter. Hear the word of the Lord. You will never engage in the school of failure. You will not engage. You will not enroll into the school of failure. You, my son, you, my daughter, you will not engage in the school of failure. You will not enroll in the school of failure. In the name of Jesus. Say, you, my son, you, my daughter, you will not engage with the school of failure. You will not enroll in the school of failure. In the mighty name of Jesus, your son will not engage. Your daughter will not enroll in the school of failure, in the journey of their life. They will not engage in the school of failure. They will know no failure. They will know no failure. They will know no failure. They will never experience failure in the mighty name of Jesus. In every area, in every step they take, they will know no failure. They will never engage with failure. In the name of Jesus, they will know no failure. They will never engage with any form of failure. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Please, I still want you to add one more for them, please. And as you are praying for your son, I want you to pray this prayer for yourself too. Amen. The Spirit of God brought it the other time, but it went away again. Now it's coming back again. Pray it for yourself. Pray it for your son. Say, you, my son, the journey of your 1 year will not turn to 10 years. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, the journey of 1 year will not turn to 10 years in the life of my children. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, the journey of 1 year will not turn to 10 years in my life. In the mighty name of Jesus, I pray for every son, every daughter of God here this morning. Your journey of 1 year will not turn to 10 years. Your journey of 1 year will not turn to 20 years. In the mighty name of Jesus, the journey of 1 year for any son, for any daughter, will not become 20 years in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Lord, we have prayed this morning concerning this area of life for these children. Let your name answer for all. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Please, let's pray for all the pregnant sisters. All the pregnant sisters, please, I want all of you to decree very loud and very, very clear. Say, lay your hands on me, O Lord. Lay your hands on my baby, O Lord. Say, lay your hands on me, O Lord, and let my life be settled. Let my body be settled. Let my baby be settled. In the mighty name of Jesus, let my story change. Let my body be settled. Let my baby be settled. Lay your hands on me, O Lord. Let my baby be settled. Let my body be settled. In the name of Jesus. Father, Lord, for all these pregnant sisters, let their life be settled, O Lord. Lay your hand of power. Lay your hand of victory. Lay your hand of comfort upon them, O Lord. Let their life be settled. Let every dream torment, be destroyed in their lives in the mighty name of Jesus. Dream torment be terminated in the life of all of these pregnant sisters in the mighty name of Jesus. Let God lay his hand of peace upon you this morning. Let your life be settled. Let your baby be settled in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now again, I want us to pray. And this time around for all of these expectant sisters. All of the expectant sisters, please. I want all of you to decree this prayer very loud and very, very clear. Say, your plan for me is good, O Lord, not evil. Say, your plan for me is good, O Lord, not evil, to have a hope and to have a future. Give me a baby, O Lord, that is in my present and in my future. Give me a baby, O Lord, that will be in my present, that will be in my future. In the name of Jesus, say, your plan for me is good, O Lord, to give me a hope, to give me a future. Say, give me my own baby, O Lord, that will be with me in my present, that will be there with me in the future. In the mighty name of Jesus. Father, Lord, I connect with all of these daughters, O Lord, trusting you for the fruit of the womb. You have a plan for them. The plan you've got for them are good, not evil, to give them a hope and a future. Father, Lord, give them the glorious baby that will make them to enjoy their present, that will be with them in their future. In the mighty name of Jesus, give them healthy children, O Lord, and let every tears, O Lord, be wiped away. In the mighty name of Jesus. Jesus, answer your name in their lives. In the mighty name of Jesus, break every yoke, O Lord. Break every yoke, break every yoke, break every yoke of barrenness. Let the yoke of barrenness, let every chain of delay be destroyed in your life, in your womb, in the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Now, quickly again, I want you to pray very loud and clear, especially if you're a sister that you want to marry, you're a brother that you want to marry, and you want God to give you your own wife, your own husband. I want you to decree very loud and very, very clear. Say, my Father, my Father, my Father, said to me in this course of life, said to me, O Lord, in this area of life, said to me, O Lord, in this area of marital life, in the mighty name of Jesus, said to me, O Lord, in this area of marital life, in the mighty name of Jesus, be settled by mercy, be settled by mercy, be settled by fire, be settled by mercy, be settled by fire. In the mighty name of Jesus, every evil yoke and bondage against your marital breakthrough today, I hereby destroy by fire. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Please, let's quickly pray for all those people that are believing God for healing. Lay your hand upon your head. Shout this prayer loud and clear as much as your strength can carry you. And I want you to decree very loud and very clear. Say, I am strong in the name of Jesus. I will never be weak. In the name of Jesus. Say, I am strong by the power in the blood of Jesus. I shall never be weak. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I am healed. I will never be sick. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I am delivered from any form of affliction. Therefore, I will not experience any of their symptoms again. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I am delivered from any form of sickness. Therefore, I will not experience any of its symptoms again. In the mighty name of Jesus. I cover all the sons and daughters of God with the blood of Jesus. By the stripes of Jesus, your healing is confirmed today. And you will continue to live in good health. You will continue to live in sound mind. You will continue to bounce in the Lord. You will continue to do well for God. In the mighty name of Jesus, it is good health to do great things. I decree and I declare that your health will not be impaired again. You will not suffer any health issues anymore. Your health will not be damaged. In the mighty name of Jesus, I cover you with the blood of Jesus. In the name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. If you are believing God for your paper, you are trusting God for breakthrough concerning business and career, you want God to favor you concerning a particular job, you are believing God for favor concerning that particular your paper that has been there for so long, or your car that you are expecting God to sort out, I want you to pray very right now. I want you to decree very loud now. Say, anointing for speedy breakthrough. That is the one you need now. Say, anointing for speedy breakthrough. Locate me this morning. In the name of Jesus. Anointing for speedy breakthrough. Locate me this morning. Anointing for speedy breakthrough. Let the anointing of speedy breakthrough locate you this morning. In the name of Jesus. I decree upon every son and every daughter that are on this particular level for so long. Let the anointing for speedy breakthrough locate you this hour. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Please, let's pray for pastors. Decree very loud and clear into the life of pastors. Say, every pastor, every apostle, every prophet, every teacher, every evangelist in all over the nations of the world, arise and shine to the glory of God in your ministry. In the name of Jesus, arise and shine to the glory of God in your ministry. Arise and shine to the glory of God in your ministry. Arise and shine to the glory of God in your ministry. In the name of Jesus, every enemy of the pastor, every enemy of the apostle, every enemy of the prophet, every enemy of the teacher, every enemy of the evangelists, especially all these ones that are called of God, let their enemy become the enemy of God. Let their friends become the friend of God. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Say the Early Risers Prayer Line. Hear the word of the Lord. Continue to manifest the victory of God. Continue to manifest the glory of God. Continue to manifest the victory of God. Continue to operate in signs and wonders. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say the Early Risers Prayer Line. Continue to manifest the glory of God. Continue to manifest the victory of God. Continue to manifest open heaven. Continue to enjoy divine intervention. Continue to enjoy speedy breakthrough. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now, if today is your birthday, I want you to shout this prayer very loud and very, very clear. Today is your birthday. I want you to decree, or maybe it's the birthday of your son, your daughter, your wife, your husband. I want you to pray for them. And I want you to decree very loud and clear. Say, thou oil of distinction. Say, thou oil of distinction be released upon the head of my son. Say, thou oil of distinction be released upon my head. Say, today is a new day in my life. Say, today is a new day in my life. Say, today is a new day in my journey. I release the oil of distinction, the oil of joy, the oil of victory, the oil of mercy upon my head today in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Now, I want you to now pray this last prayer for yourself. And I want you to decree very loud and clear. Say, I will continue to watch and pray. In the name of Jesus. Say, I will continue to watch and pray. I will continue to be occupied until it comes. In the name of Jesus. Say, I will continue to watch and pray. Say, I will continue to be occupied until it comes. In the name of Jesus. Say, I will continue to watch and pray. I will continue to be occupied until it comes. In the name of Jesus. Say, I will continue to watch and pray. I will continue to be occupied until it comes. In the mighty name of Jesus. Say, I will not live a careless life as a son of God. I will not live a careless life as a daughter of God. In the name of Jesus. You will not live a careless life. You will not live a carefree life. In the name of Jesus. You will continue to watch and pray until it comes. In the mighty name of Jesus. Thank you, Holy Spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Lord, I thank you for every son and every daughter whose voice you've heard this morning as they have prayed and their prayer answered. Jesus, let them begin to see the results of answered prayers in all departments of their lives. It is done. Thank you, Jesus. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen, amen, and amen. Praise the Lord. I want to say a very big congratulations to all the sons and to all the daughters of God. I want you to know that your prayer are answered, and it is not to excite you, it is just to confirm what the Spirit of God has just said. And as your prayers are answered, I want you to begin to jubilate and to begin to celebrate in the Holy Ghost in the name of Jesus. Please and please, I want you to continue to wait for God and never to run ahead of Him. He has answered you. Just allow Him and let the manifestation of how He's going to do that particular thing. Let God do it in His own way, not in your own way. Let God do it in His own terms, not in your own terms, and not in your own condition. He will do it in His own terms and His own condition, not in your own terms and not in your own condition. That is why you need to wait for God. And I pray for every son. I decree upon every daughter of God that you will not run ahead of God in every course and every step of your life. In the name of Jesus, you will do it the good way, you will do it the God way. In the name of Jesus. And because He has answered you this morning, you will share the testimony to the glory of God and to the shame of the devil. In the name of Jesus. Please and please, if you have been blessed by this particular administration and today is your first time here, I want to congratulate you in the name of Jesus. You can never be here by mistake. You are here by divine direction. And as you are here by that divine direction, God will continue to guide your steps in the mighty name of Jesus. Please and please make yourself comfortable and know that all we do here every day is to continue to pray for one another and to continue to strengthen your prayer altar. That is exactly what we do, to strengthen one another and to make prayer very easy, to make prayer life very, very easy. And that will continue to strengthen your inner man, and that will give you courage and coverage. That will give you courage and coverage for everything you want to do for that particular day. I decree and I declare that you will not become a weakling in the hand of the Almighty in the name of Jesus, but you will become a strong son of God. You will become a child of covenant that is always trusting his Father for direction on the altar of prayer on a daily basis in the mighty name of Jesus. Your prayer life will not nosedive, but rather you will continue to scale height and hurdles as you continue to trust God on the altar of prayer on a daily basis in the name of Jesus. Please and please try as much as you can to make sure that you continue to pray on this particular altar every day in the name of Jesus, and your testimony is guaranteed in Jesus' name. Please don't fight anybody. Run away from all appearances of evil, and the God of all grace will continue to strengthen you in Jesus' name. Note that if you are on any platform, those of you that today is your first time, try as much as possible to go to our YouTube, and that is Daily Prayer Line. Daily Prayer Line on YouTube, Daily Prayer Line, the Early Risers Media. Daily Prayer Line, the Early Risers Media, and click on the subscribe button. As you do that, God bless you in the mighty name of Jesus. All of us that are engaging, either you're on Facebook, either you're on Instagram, either you're on YouTube, and either you're on Zoom, I want to say thank you to every one of you. You are telling me that, Pastor, you are not the only one involved in this. This is the work of God, and we are going to engage in doing that work. There are many of you that are doing this, and I trust God that God will continue to be a participator in all that you do. God will not be a spectator in all affairs and in all areas of your life in the mighty name of Jesus. You are doing well, and I love you with the love of the Lord. God bless you and bless you more superiorly, more abundantly in the mighty name of Jesus. And those of us that are always sitting back, I want you to also take that particular challenge and make sure you engage. It's so important. At times you may be thinking that, oh, I will be awake and Mr. Flesh may not allow you. But when you engage, you will stay awake and you'll be able to see the prayers and you'll be able to pray them very, very well. So there is a reason why you are doing that. One of the reasons is that you encourage others. I've seen someone on the platform saying before that, oh, thank you to a particular brother that was actually, repeating the prayer, writing the prayer out, saying that that actually helps him. And that is how we should be, our brother's keeper. Some of us may not be able to go with the pace of the way we speak or the way we talk, but when you write it out for some people, they'll be able to see it clearly and they'll be able to pray the way you are supposed to pray. As we all continue to do this, I pray that grace and greater grace will continue to manifest in all of your lives in Jesus' name. Please and please, all of us in all of the platform, try to click on the like button if you know that you are blessed. God bless you all in the name of Jesus. From the 1st of June to the 7th of June is our mid-year prayer and fasting program. Bear that in mind. Prayer will be provided for those period of time, and God will continue to grace you all in the name of Jesus. Let us share the grace now, please. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ, the love of God, and the sweet fellowship of the Holy Spirit rest and abide with us now and forevermore. Amen. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever and ever. Amen. Prayer will continue to sort you out. Prayer will continue to settle you. You will continue to find solution and victory in the place of prayer forever. In the name of Jesus. God bless you all. Happy night rest. In Jesus' name. Amen.